Have you ever felt like you're running on a hamster wheel, chasing goals that never seem to bring lasting peace? Maybe you're juggling a demanding job, family expectations, or the pressure to keep up on social media. In the whirlwind of modern life, it's easy to lose yourself, your true self, amid the noise. But what if the secret to a more grounded, fulfilling life isn't out there in the next promotion, relationship, or achievement? What if it's already inside you, waiting to be uncovered through the power of self-focus? This idea lies at the heart of Buddhist wisdom, a tradition that's guided millions for over 2,500 years. The Buddha taught that true happiness doesn't come from external things, which are fleeting and unreliable, but from understanding and mastering your own mind. Self-focus isn't about being selfish, it's about turning your attention inward to cultivate clarity, resilience, and peace. It's about asking, who am I, really, instead of what does the world want me to be? In today's world, self-focus feels more vital than ever. We're bombarded with distractions, endless notifications, societal pressures, and the constant urge to compare ourselves to others. A 2024 survey found that 60% of Americans feel overwhelmed by stress at least once a week, often because they're too focused on external demands. But the Buddhist teachings offer a timeless antidote. By focusing on yourself, your thoughts, emotions, and values, you can break free from suffering and build a life of purpose. In this journey, we'll explore what self-focus means through a Buddhist lens, why it's so powerful, and how you can apply it in your daily life. Through real-life examples, practical tools, and the Buddha's own words, you'll discover how turning inward can transform not just how you handle stress, but how you live. Let's start by unpacking what self-focus really means and why it's the key to unlocking your inner strength. Self-focus, in the Buddhist sense, isn't about ego or self-obsession. It's about cultivating a deep awareness of your own mind and experience, free from the distractions of the outside world. The Buddha often spoke of the importance of looking inward to understand the nature of suffering and happiness. In the Dhammapada, a collection of his sayings, he declared, "You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." This isn't a call to narcissism, it's an invitation to prioritize your inner well-being so you can show up more fully for others. At its core, self-focus in Buddhism is tied to mindfulness, sati, the practice of being fully present with your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. The Buddha taught that our suffering often comes from being disconnected from the present moment, either clinging to the past or worrying about the future. When you focus on yourself, you anchor yourself in the now, observing your mind's patterns and learning to respond with wisdom instead of reacting impulsively. Another key aspect of self-focus is understanding the concept of anatta, or no self. This might sound contradictory. How can you focus on yourself if there's no self? In Buddhism, anatta means there's no fixed, permanent you separate from the world. Instead, you're a constantly changing flow of thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Self-focus helps you see this clearly, letting go of the illusion of a rigid identity that needs to prove itself to others. It's about discovering who you are beneath the labels mother, employee, friend, and connecting with your deeper essence. The Buddhist teachings also emphasize self-compassion as a cornerstone of self-focus. In a famous discourse, he said, "Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule." This applies to how you treat yourself, too. So often, we're our own harshest critics, beating ourselves up for not being enough. But self-focus invites kindness, treating yourself with the same patience and understanding you'd offer a dear friend. By focusing on yourself, you create a foundation for inner peace that external circumstances can't shake. It's like planting a tree in your own backyard. You nurture it, watch it grow, and eventually, it provides shade for others. But first, you have to tend to your own soil. Let's explore why looking outward so often leads us astray, and how self-focus can bring us back to center. Modern life trains us to seek happiness outside ourselves. We chase approval from others, likes on Instagram, praise from our boss, or admiration from our peers. We tie our worth to achievements, thinking, "I'll be happy when I get that promotion, buy that house, or lose 10 pounds. But here's the hard truth: external validation is a shaky foundation. It's like building a house on sand, one storm, and it's gone. The Buddha understood this deeply. He taught that all conditioned things, everything in the external world, are impermanent, anicca. In the Anattalakkhana Sutta, he asked his disciples, "Is what is impermanent, suffering, and subject to change fit to be regarded as self?" The answer, of course, is no.
When we pin our happiness on things that are fleeting, like wealth, status, or others' opinions, we set ourselves up for suffering.
Think about social media for a moment.
A 2023 study found that 70% of young adults feel worse about themselves after scrolling through platforms like Instagram, where curated perfection fuels comparison. You post a photo, hoping for likes, but when the numbers don't hit your expectations, you feel empty. That's the trap of external validation. It's never enough, because it's never stable.
The Buddha's solution? Stop looking outward for your sense of self.
In the Satipatthana Sutta, he laid out the foundations of mindfulness, urging us to observe our own body, feelings, mind, and mental objects. By focusing on your own experience, you break free from the cycle of craving approval. You start to see that your worth isn't tied to what others think. It's inherent in your ability to be present, to be kind, to be aware.
This shift isn't easy, especially in a culture that glorifies hustle and external success. But it's liberating.
When you focus on yourself, you stop being a puppet to others' expectations. You become the author of your own story, grounded in your own truth. Let's dive deeper into how the Buddha's teachings guide us toward this inward journey and what it looks like in practice. The Buddha's teachings offer a clear roadmap for self-focus, rooted in practices that have stood the test of time.
One of the most powerful is mindfulness meditation, which he described in detail in the Satipatthana Sutta.
This practice involves sitting quietly and observing your breath, body sensations, and thoughts without attachment. The goal isn't to stop thinking, that's impossible, but to notice your thoughts as they arise and let them pass like clouds in the sky. The Buddha said, within this very body, 6 feet long, with its senses and thoughts, is the world, the origin of the world, the cessation of the world, and the path leading to the cessation of the world.
In other words, everything you need to find peace is already within you. By focusing on your breath, you anchor yourself in the present moment, where suffering loses its grip. You're not obsessing over the past or worrying about the future, you're simply here, now. Another key teaching is non-attachment. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha said, from craving arises sorrow, from craving arises fear. For one who is free from craving, there is no sorrow, whence fear. When you focus on yourself, you start to see how much of your stress comes from clinging to outcomes, to identities, to desires. Non-attachment doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you stop letting those things control you. You learn to hold life lightly, like a butterfly on your finger, appreciating it without grasping. Self-focus also involves cultivating the 4 immeasurables: loving kindness, metta, compassion, karuna, empathetic joy, mudita, and equanimity, upekkha. These qualities start with how you treat yourself. In loving kindness meditation, you begin by offering goodwill to yourself. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. This practice rewires your mind to see yourself as worthy of care, which is the foundation for extending that care to others. The Buddha's path to self-focus is about stripping away the layers of distraction and delusion to reveal your true nature. It's a journey of coming home to yourself, over and over again. To see how this plays out in real life, let's meet Mia, a woman who used self-focus to transform her life. Mia, a 35-year-old single mom and graphic designer, felt like she was drowning in responsibilities. Between working late nights to meet client deadlines, raising her 7-year-old son, and trying to maintain a social life, she was stretched thin. She'd snap at her son over small things, like spilled juice, then feel guilty for hours. She'd scroll through social media, comparing herself to perfect moms, and wonder why she couldn't keep it together. I felt like I was failing at everything, she later shared. One day, a friend invited Mia to a mindfulness workshop at a local Buddhist center. She was skeptical. I don't have time to sit and breathe, she thought, but she went anyway. The teacher shared a quote from the Buddha: you should train yourself thus, we will develop and cultivate mindfulness, make it our vehicle, our foundation, and dwell in it always. Mia was intrigued. She started with just 5 minutes a day, sitting on her couch before her son woke up, focusing on her breath. At first, her mind raced: bills, deadlines, grocery lists. But over weeks, she noticed a shift. She began to catch herself in moments of frustration, like when her son interrupted her work. Instead of reacting, she'd take a deep breath and ask, "What do I need right now?" Often, it was a glass of water or a quick stretch. This small act of self-focus helped her respond with patience instead of anger. Mia also started practicing self-compassion, inspired by the Buddha's teachings on loving kindness. She'd look in the mirror each morning and say, "I'm doing my best, and that's enough." She stopped comparing herself to others online, unfollowing accounts that made her feel inadequate. She focused on her own values, being a present mom, creating art she loved, and let go of the need to be perfect. Over time, Mia's life didn't get less busy, but she felt lighter. Her relationship with her son deepened. They started a nightly ritual of sharing one thing they were grateful for. At work, she set boundaries, saying no to projects that drained her. By focusing on herself, Mia discovered a well of strength she didn't know she had. Her story shows how the Buddha's teachings on self-focus can transform even the most chaotic lives. Ready to try self-focus for yourself? Here are some practical tools, grounded in Buddhist practices, that you can start using today. 1. Mindful breathing, 5 minutes a day. Find a quiet spot, sit comfortably, and close your eyes. Focus on your breath, inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Notice the air moving in and out. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring it back to your breath. The Buddha taught that the breath is a bridge to the present moment. Even 5 minutes can help you feel grounded. 2. Loving kindness meditation. Sit quietly and repeat these phrases silently. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. Picture yourself surrounded by warm light as you say them. If you're struggling with self-criticism, this practice can soften your inner dialogue. The Buddha emphasized starting with yourself before extending kindness outward. 3. Journaling your inner truth. Each evening, write down 3 things: a moment you felt stressed, how you reacted, and one thing you're grateful for. This helps you observe your patterns without judgment, a key part of mindfulness. The Buddha encouraged self-reflection as a way to understand the mind. 4. Digital detox. Set boundaries with technology, like no screens an hour before bed. The Buddha taught non-attachment, and in today's world, that includes detaching from the constant pull of notifications. Use that time to connect with yourself, read, meditate, or simply sit in silence. 5. Body scan practice. Lie down and slowly bring your attention to each part of your body, from your toes to your head. Notice sensations without trying to change them. This practice, rooted in the Buddha's mindfulness teachings, helps you reconnect with your physical self, grounding you in the present. These tools aren't about perfection, they're about showing up for yourself, moment by moment. But self-focus isn't always easy. Let's look at some common challenges and how to overcome them. Self-focus sounds great in theory, but in practice, it can be tough. Distractions, self-doubt, and old habits often get in the way. Here's how to navigate these obstacles, with wisdom from the Buddha. 1. The restless mind. When you try to meditate or reflect, your mind might feel like a monkey swinging from branch to branch, racing thoughts, to-do lists, random worries. The Buddha called this monkey mind and said it's natural. The key is patience. Don't fight your thoughts, observe them. In the Dhammapada, he said, as a fletcher straightens an arrow, so the wise straighten their unsteady mind. Each time you bring your focus back to your breath, you're training your mind to settle. 2. Self-doubt and guilt. You might feel guilty for focusing on yourself. Shouldn't I be helping others instead? But the Buddha taught that self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary. In the Metta Sutta, he emphasized cultivating love for yourself as the foundation for loving others. If you're running on empty, you can't give your best. Remind yourself, by focusing on your own peace, you're better equipped to show up for the people you care about. 3. External distractions. Modern life is full of noise, phones, emails, endless demands. The Buddha's advice? Create space for stillness. He often retreated to the forest to meditate, away from distractions. You don't need a forest, just a quiet corner. Set boundaries, like turning off notifications during your self-focus time. Treat it as sacred, a gift to yourself. 4. Impatience for results. We live in a culture of quick fixes, but self-focus is a gradual path. The Buddha compared spiritual growth to planting a seed. It takes time to bear fruit.
In the Udana, he said, little by little, a wise person fills themselves with good, just as a water pot is filled by drops.
Be gentle with yourself.
Progress might look like noticing your stress a bit sooner, or pausing before reacting. That's growth. By facing these challenges with mindfulness and persistence, you'll deepen your self-focus over time. And the benefits don't stop with you, they ripple outward, transforming how you connect with the world. When you focus on yourself, you don't just change your own life, you change the lives of those around you. The Buddha taught that inner peace radiates outward, like a lamp lighting up a dark room. In the Dhammapada, he said, mind precedes all phenomena, mind is their chief, their maker. When your mind is clear and calm, it shapes how you interact with others.
Let's go back to Mia.
As she cultivated self-focus, her relationships transformed. She used to argue with her sister over small things, like who'd host family dinners. But after months of mindfulness practice, she started listening more deeply, responding with understanding instead of defensiveness. Her sister noticed the change, and their bond grew stronger. At work, Mia's newfound clarity helped her communicate better with clients, leading to more creative projects and less stress.
Self-focus also helps you find purpose. When you're not chasing external validation, you can ask deeper questions. What truly matters to me? What impact do I want to have?
For some, this might mean volunteering, creating art, or simply being more present with loved ones. The Buddha taught that true happiness comes from living in alignment with your values, not society's expectations.
Even small acts of self-focus, like taking a mindful walk, can ripple outward.
When you're grounded, you bring a sense of calm to every interaction. You become a source of light for others, not because you're trying to, but because you've nurtured your own inner flame.
Self-focus isn't a one-time fix, it's a lifelong practice, a journey of returning to yourself again and again. The Buddha's teachings remind us that this path isn't about perfection, it's about progress.
In the Dhammapada, he said, better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace.
That word, for you, might be enough. You are enough, just as you are. Start small.
Take 5 minutes today to breathe deeply, to notice your thoughts without judgment, to offer yourself kindness. Over time, these moments will add up, building a foundation of inner strength that no external storm can shake. You'll find that self-focus doesn't isolate you, it connects you more deeply to the world, because a peaceful heart can't help but spread peace.
The power of self-focus lies in its simplicity. It's about coming home to yourself, right here, right now. As the Buddha taught, everything you need is already within you. So take a deep breath, turn inward, and begin. Your transformation starts today.